Hello, this is Joshua at Gongs Unlimited with a Wingkey, a Gibraltar Wingkey, which is a multi-tool for tightening and loosening all hardware parts on Gibraltar style gong stand hardwares. The connecting clamps and the gong holding gong mount gong hooks. A multi-tool for all the bolts and wing nuts on those hardware parts. The wing key, the Gibraltar wing key, has three tightening parts and then a sliding apparatus which gives you a handle to turn on either side of whichever part you're using. The point of the sliding bar here is to give you like a T or a handle for turning and cranking, tightening and loosening bolts and nuts with this multi-tool. It has a 1/2 inch socket for which is pretty much the standard size of nut in a lot of things. I'm not very aware of 1/2 inch nuts on most Gibraltar clamps, so I don't imagine using that 1/2 inch socket very much. But the other two, I do imagine using a lot, which is a standard drum key, that square-ended bolt on the end of all drum stands and the end of all Gibraltar hardware parts that don't have the big wing nut has a little square-headed drum key bolt, and the drum key being right here is that square end right here. And then this castle-looking four-parted prong is to grab the large Gibraltar wings on the wing nut to tighten and loosen. And I'll give you a quick example. With our setup here in our AV room, which has plenty of Gibraltar parts, and these are all the gong mounts, but the same nuts, wings that hold the gong hooks, the gong mounts, are the same bolts and nuts that hold the corners of all Gibraltar parts. The Gibraltar wing nut is designed to be used by hand. Wonderfully designed to be used by hand. But sometimes someone like me tightens one of these down, and I tend to over tighten everything, and I tighten it, and then people around me come around and say, "You tighten this too tight." Happens a lot. This tool is great for someone else other than me that over tightened it to free it. So you put the wing between any of these corresponding slots, and then you can either use the T right in the middle or just use it as a lever to untighten that too tight wing, and now it's free. Or if you really wanted to tighten one of these down, you could use this multi-tool to then tighten that wing. That multi-tool will also work on, well, pretty much any large wing nut, such as the wing nuts on our own Gongs Unlimited gong mounts, the Genius hanger, which has this smaller size wing nut up here. It fits in looser, but also if one of these style wing nuts gets tightened down too tight by someone a little too ambitious, you can use this to untighten like that. And then the other side, well, not the other side, because the other side of that is that 1/2 inch socket. The other side of what we've been using as the handlebar is that drum key. That is used for these drum key bolts, which you'll see most often in the memory lock of the Gibraltar systems, sometimes as part of the back of certain clamps, especially the foot clamps in the Gibraltar system stands, and sometimes you might use a drum key bolt in anything to not have the space that one of these wing nuts takes up. Regardless of where it is, that square-headed bolt undoes with this, and then I'm using the tool that is the square socket here and this part, and then I'm turning with this part as the handle. Now loose, tighten to lock that memory lock in place. So loosen this memory lock, slide it over, and a memory lock or a drum key, you do need a tool to tighten and loosen. And that makes this multi-tool Gibraltar Wingkey a really, I mean, I have used, or I have played with, or I have built out a lot of Gibraltar stands, a lot of Gibraltar parts, and this is a really handy tool. It's really handy to not be searching everywhere for the little drum key, and it's really nice to have this wing key to loosen or even tighten these large Gibraltar wing nuts. So it's a great, handy, really handy tool if you are in the Gibraltar land of gong stands. And thank you.